Hey, welcome back to edtech. Today I'll be teaching you about JavaScript array method findIndex, or rather the findIndex method. This is basically a new method in JavaScript array method, and it's quite simple to understand. So without wasting much time, let's get started. Let me cite with an example. Let's say you have an array. Okay, let's say these are the numbers 7, 25, 10, 10, comma 5. Yeah, and then let's say you want to call the other array var result. This is the result array. Okay, so how do you how do you do this process method findIndex? First one, array, the original array dot findIndex, then the parenthesis. Let's say in this case x, where x is any element, every element which is found in the array. So this method will be working upon every element, each and every element found in the array. And what does it do? X, and then we use the arrow index, the arrow method, arrow function, as I showed you last time. Okay, arrow where x is greater than 20, right? And then close this bracket or parenthesis. Okay, now I just print the result. Document.write result. Let's check the result. Oh, array.findIndex. I don't find anything wrong here. Did I miss a semicolon? Unexpected number. Oh yeah. Oh, this always happens to me. Sorry about that. Comma. I forgot the comma. Okay, 1. So here, okay, so which number is greater than 20? Which number is greater than 20? The second one, 25, right? Now here, it's finding the index. So what is the index of the number 25 in this array? 1. First element is 0, second one, so 1. So the result is 1. Sorry. Now what happens in findIndex method is, I just wanted to give you an example before explaining the process. So this is basically returning the index of the very first element in the given array that satisfies the provided function condition. Here the function condition is the element is find an element who's greater than 20, and then return the index of that number. So that is the function. That is the condition that the callback function is doing. So this callback function here is an arrow function. So in this, by satisfying this condition, it will find out that 25 is the one number which is greater than 20, and then it will return the index which is 1. So this is what's called the findIndex method. And if there were more numbers following 25, it will only show the first element which satisfies the condition. But in this case, there's only this particular number. Had it be like, for example, if this was 30, the result would still be the same, 1 only. Why? It won't cite 30. It will only show, that is the rule, the index of the first element which satisfies this particular condition that is provided here. And then remember, in this particular case, for findIndex method, it does not mutate, it does not change the original array. Yeah. So basically what's happening, you have a callback function here. In this case, it's an arrow function, and it will be executing and working on each element with the current value that is provided here, and it will also work on the index. So that's why it is possible to provide the value of the index as well after detecting the number in that fulfilling that particular given condition. So this is all about findIndex. Let me show some more examples. If had it been less than 20, so are there any numbers less? Yeah, there are plenty, but the first one is 7, right? So it will be index 0, because the first one satisfying this condition is the first number, which is 7. So that is at index 0. Yeah. Now, this is how you can write using arrow. But another way, let's say, for example, instead of var array, let me say if it is var ages, it's a age-based array with these ages in years. And so in this case, you can either use X or you can also use age, because it's going to work on it's going to process each and every age. So instead of X, you can either depict as X or you can say age, not in singular number, not in plural number, because it's going to work on each and every age that is provided in the array. So let's check it out. Instead of saying this, you can say less than 7. Result. So this will be document.write. Result is okay, sorry. This will be, instead of array, it will be ages. Be careful, because I'm just modifying the same one, so it will turn out to be an array typo. Yeah. So it will be 3. So ages.findIndex, age, arrow, age less than 7. That's a condition. So age less than 7 is which one? 5. So index is 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. The last element has index 3. Now had I say a condition which is not fulfilled, let's take an example. Age equals, you can even say it that way, age equals 7. No, not 7. Let's say 9. Age equals to 9. Minus 1. Why? Because you don't have any 9-year-old age here. There's no 9 years here. So if a value is absent, then what happens? Then the result of the index which is printed out will be minus 1. That shows this value is not available. It cannot process that. Yeah. So it cannot show the index. It will show print the value of minus 1. Okay. Now you can even do other methods whereby fulfill other conditions. Whereby let's say that this is like numbers. Yeah, this is like numbers, and here the result. So let's say you want to find out even numbers, right? So our result will be numbers dot find index number let's call it short form num. Yeah, num, whereby we just remove this. Okay. Then the curly brackets, because I want to say some conditions further along the way. Okay, let's say I want to say num equals numbers dot findIndex oh sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm repeating it by mistake. I already mentioned that earlier. I'm sorry about that. Return. I need to return inside the function, inside the callback function. So return even number. Let's say num percent. As you all know, if I say percent of 2 equals 0, what does that mean? It's an even number, right? Okay. So let's, okay. Now I want to print the result. 2. Because rest are 25, 35 or odd numbers. So it will print out you want to print out the even number because it fulfills this condition, right? So which is the even number? 30. 25 is odd, 7 is odd, 5 is odd. 30 divided by 2 will not give you any remainder, right? So that is even number. Whereas if I would have written is not, then for odd number, let's check the result. Yeah, I'm not supposed to write 3 equal zeros, okay, is 0. Why? Because the first odd number is happening as the first element, which is first number, which is 7, and the index of that number is 0. Whereas in this case, even number is at index position 0, 1, 2, 30. Yeah, so like that. So you can fulfill these kind of conditions and return the index value of that particular number which fulfills that condition. Okay. So you have seen when it is equal to a particular value, less than, greater than. When it's an odd number, even number, you can extract in these ways. You can also do it when there are two conditions. Sorry. So let's say so in that case, in this case, if you see in the parameter, you are only considering one value. But when you want to consider the element as well as the index, then you can have more conditions. Let's see how it is done. If let's say, okay, yeah, so let index ranks, just follows the same syntax, slightly different, ranks dot find index. So here it will be using arrow function. Let's use arrow function here to make it more precise and easier. I prefer the arrow function. Yeah. So here I have to use one more parenthesis for element as well as index. Rank index. Yeah, so I'm using 2. Okay, then the arrow function. Then what's happening? I want to give a condition that rank equal to 5, and one more condition, and we've already learned how to do this last time, and index less than, where's my less than, okay, less than say 2. These are the two conditions. So I want like the element, here the element is a rank. So I want to first find the index of with two parameters. One is the element itself, which is rank here, and the index. Earlier it was just the element. So the element equal to 5 and index is less than 2. Document dot write find the document dot print the document dot write index -1. Why? Because rank equal to 5 is already there, but its index position is 0, 1, 2, 3. Here I want to fulfill the condition index less than 2, and it has to be 5. So that means the value doesn't exist. So it will return a -1 index. Let's also find index using a function. Instead of arrow function, a named function. var array equals -10, -15, 5, 7, 9. Okay, leave the 9. So I'm just going to remove the first one so that there's no confusion. Okay. Now I want to consider a function. Let me say greater than 0, or let me say greater than 1. So the name of the function is function greater than 1. Then inside the parenthesis e, in the curly brackets, return these numbers -10, 15, 5 and 7. Then we consider a function, a named function with a name of greater than 1, and within the parenthesis it has a parameter which is element, and then within the curly brackets, as is done in a callback function. This is a callback function. We want to return all the elements, or an element which is greater than 1, right? Okay, so then after that I want to print out the result with the findIndex. So what I do, document dot write, here it's array dot findIndex, as we did earlier, and then the parenthesis sorry, okay, index, find index, then again the parenthesis which is greater than 1. That's the name of the function, right? Okay. One. Why? Because you want to find an element, return an element index. First you want to check which element is greater than 1. So in this, there are 3 elements, 15, 5 and 7. But out of that, the very first element or the first number which fulfills this condition greater than 1 is 15. And what's the index position of that? 1. So that's why the result 1. So this is using a callback function, which is a named function, not the arrow function. So you can either use the arrow function as shown above earlier, or you can use this kind of a regular, this kind of named function. So there are 2 types of callback functions, but either ways you need to use a callback function, whether it is arrow or this, and you also need to fulfill you need to have a condition which is to be fulfilled, like return so and so, and you need to have an array with elements. Yeah, it could be any element, and you also need to have a function which is, like I say, either arrow function or any kind of callback function, and then you can print out based on, and that's why it's called findIndex. Yeah, and remember, it does not mutate the original array. Yeah, so it's more or less the same. Only thing is, in this case, in the parenthesis, we actually used, in the earlier one, in this case, we in the argument or for the argument in the parenthesis, we only used element. But in the previous case, if you remember, we used the element as well as the index. I just shown you above. So these are the ways you can use findIndex. It's pretty easy, just need to practice a bit. I'll be mentioning the solution to the code, to the tutorial in the description below. And do remember to subscribe if you've not yet subscribed, like and share to support my channel so that I can continue making more such tutorials. Bye, see you in the next lesson.